What's up, fam? We back with another one. As y'all see, we got 1090 Jake on the screen, but for this one, it's on top of what he already got going on. This is crazy. So, we got a shooter saying that Lil Durk was supposed to pay him on a hit. So yeah, crazy. Yeah, y'all drop a like, comment, subscribe. We finna definitely get into this, break this down. Yeah, make sure y'all subscribe, man. Let's get into it.
Man, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of EOS.
He already
It's
got
1090
enough on
Jake,
his
man.
head.
I'm rocking with y'all rocking with me. And for this video, we're going to be speaking on the Chicago Hitman that was apparently in jail, talking to a confidential source, saying Lil Durk paid him for a hit. Now, you don't have to crash to get a $5 video. Now, this is Pacer, right? The official
Bro, this is not good
site
for
you
him
go
right now,
on
bro.
for federal paperwork. This, I'm going to clarify, though, for the confusion out there. This isn't Durk's case. This is the United States of America versus Preston Powell, a.k.a. Marley. This is Marley, this handsome young guy from Chicago. And Marley is charged with the murder of Stephon Mack, right? So I'm assuming Stephon Mack is here, and these two guys are firing out of a vehicle.
For those of y'all who don't know who Stephon Mack is, the Chicagoans that's gonna watch the video, correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I know, that name is familiar, and it's familiar from, I think, Lil Durk brother, the untimely demise. Rest in peace, his brother. I think bro had something to do with his brother getting killed, or some affiliation with it. So he got killed in retaliation. Then the hitman is saying in jail that Durk paid him, not was supposed to pay him, but paid him. Like, yeah, we gotta.
Vehicle. Clearly,
This is not good for
this
what he got
skinny
going on right
dude isn't this one,
Yeah.
so this has to be Bigum's over here.
Exactly.
And yeah, you know, this is how he takes his pictures. You see him on Tinder. He's like, yeah, you know, ladies, I'm single. This is how he looks. This is Marley right here. So Marley is charged with his participation in this killing, right? And Elmer Fudd over here is AJ. This would be AJ. Now we're gonna get into AJ, but let's jump into the paperwork real quick, right? The introduction. The government previously moved for use of the entirety of co-defendant Anthony Montgomery Wilson's recorded statements against defendant Preston Powell. Now Anthony is AJ, Powell is Marley, right?
Right.
And we're just gonna get right into it. By way of this submission, the government proposes that the court allow for the admission of 3 limited excerpts. So they're introducing these 3 things, speaking on this murder, right? And up here it would say, the excerpts simply show that Montgomery Wilson's motivation for killing Mack was to collect a cash bounty that had been put out for Mack's murder by individual A and his associates with OTF. Individual A is obviously Lil Durk. Now the first excerpt would state, in this excerpt, AJ explained to the confidential source that the bounty for killing Youngin, which was Mack's nickname, was 70 grand, and that AJ tried to get the amount increased to 90. AJ, next thing you know, that's a dub. Reminds me, we was having a conversation, shorty. Ken told me like, shit, he a 70 ball right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm finna try to get him to go to a 90. We trying to get 90 out of him for this shit. Confidential source.
You know, and I hate to say it like this, but you know, as a nigga who putting hits out, you know when a nigga come back to you trying to ask him, oh, you know he finna tell. You know he finna tell you. You know you shouldn't have did it. It's over with. You know if a nigga come back asking for more money than what, bro, it's over with, bro. You know he finna tell.
Source for a motherfucker, AJ for Youngin. Excerpt 2. In this excerpt, AJ explained to the confidential source that although individual A, aka Durk, contributed $50,000 to the bounty for killing Mac, AJ only collected a portion of those funds. AJ, look, Jam, this what Jam told Didi. I mean, he told Bondo. Like, Bug, he say, man, Durk gave up 50, shorty. He only paid me a dub, so it's 30 missing. Remind you, I'm locked up. So he's saying Durk gave 50, but he only got paid 20, and 30,000 is missing. And in this excerpt, AJ would explain to the confidential source that he received approximately $40,000 for killing Mac. Confidential source, so altogether you got 35? AJ, 35,000 and then another 5 from JD and them.
But then again, I hate to say this right now. Look at what they killing niggas for, bro. This ain't no money, bro. Like, bro. 35,000, bro. With the mindset of a young black man, and I'm just being realistic, with some money, who ain't never had some money, that lives in poverty, 35,000 will be gone within tops 2 months. Easy. Easy. Probably within a month. 100,000 be gone at the most in 5 months. Easy. 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 Money nowadays is, bro, everything is so expensive nowadays. 1, 2, it look like a lot of money until you get to spending on things. And that'll be your actual first time, and I'm saying this from experience, that'll be your actual first time realizing, like, damn, you didn't know this money could go this fast. Like, yeah, like, that ain't enough money, but be killing somebody. Then on top of that, let's say you do get put into court and get locked up as a main suspect in the case because you didn't do your stuff right. Then that money's down the drain. You have like, that ain't shit to pay a lawyer. You need to be, for a murder, you need to be spending at least $250,000 to be getting yourself, bro, what? 35,000, 100,000, you ain't getting shit out of that, bro. Like, and I'm saying that for the youngins, whoever listening, bro, this ain't a lot of money. It's not. This money will go fast, man. I'm telling you, bro. This is not a lot of money at all. Like, they killing for nothing, pretty much.
Which they supposed to gave me 100, shorty. They really owe me 100,000. These 3 limited excerpts exclusively concern AJ's admissions to the confidential source that he killed Mac to collect a payment that had been offered by Durk and his associates for the murder. The statements were clearly against AJ's interests and are independently corroborated by other evidence. These 3 limited excerpts are highly probative of the 4 higher components of Mac's murder, and their admission would not be unfairly prejudicial to Powell, right? Now, Powell is basically arguing against what AJ said because, AJ is obviously making it look like, hey, we did this because they paid us to do this. That's why we did it. The 3 limited excerpts from AJ's recorded statements to confidential source provide critical context for those text messages. Now, this is the text. Powell, what's up with OTF? AJ, nothing. Powell, what you mean? They not paying? AJ, we waiting. He comes up here on the 17th. Powell, aight. Now on February 17th, 2022, Durk was in Chicago conducting a podcast interview which AJ attended. That day, Powell texted AJ, stand on that while you with Durk them. The following day, Powell texted AJ, did Durk give you that money? This is very important. It's stating that Durk was in Chicago to do a podcast interview. And AJ, who had already killed Mac, showed up. And Marley's telling him, make sure you stand on that. Tell Durk we need that money.
Yeah.
Right? So AJ shows up and is supposed to ask Durk for this money for this killing. And it just so happens the podcast is $1 million worth of game. Now, the paperwork states the interview was conducted on February 22nd, and this interview would drop March 10th, 2022, giving time for editing or whatever else. But this wasn't the only thing recorded that day. Durk's music video, Aha, was also recorded that day in the same studio space, and the interview along with Durk's new song, Aha, would drop on the same day, February 22nd.
Now, before he said, as y'all obviously see, it's $1 million on the table. Bro brought $1 million to $1 million worth of game. He brought $1 million to the churches. With that being said, did you get your money? Like, did you press up and get the money like you was supposed to do? Like you've been pressing other people about? Well, I'm curious to see how this goes.
Now, the funny thing about this, right, is he brought $1 million cash to $1 million worth of game. And apparently in the background of this video is not only the leader of Mike City, the gang, but AJ, who's a member of Mike City. Now, within the federal paperwork, they would show a picture from the Aha music video and a man's face would be blurred out. And then obviously Reddit's gonna do what Reddit's gonna do, but this is supposedly the leader of Mike City. And AJ can be seen in the background of the music video. Stephon Max Killer AJ from Mike City was at Lil Durk's Aha music video shoot. The same video that he dropped less than a month after Stephon died, and he was claiming he got back for D-Thang and got someone's folks hit.
If you have CalFresh, Medi-Cal, or SSI, you may qualify, plus up to 10 gigabytes of data included. Apply online in 2 minutes, shipped free across California.
So again, this whole murder took place because Stephon Mack allegedly had something to do with D-Thang's brother getting killed outside of a club. And then the music video would drop, people would start putting the pieces together, but the feds haven't indicted Durk for this murder. These two guys have been indicted. And these two guys are apparently throwing Durk's name around, or at least AJ is.
And that is not good with what he got going on already. That just don't, bro. They could bring this up in court, bro. Like that's whew.
And the feds looked at everything.
For his situation
so Durk did a podcast interview. AJ was in attendance. While AJ's in attendance, Marley's telling him to press Durk about the fucking money they're owed, while there's $1 million sitting on the table in front of him. But again, the most important thing to take away from this situation is this doesn't have shit to do with Durk's case. I see the blogs talking about it all over the place, and a lot of people are thinking that this is gonna bury Durk deeper or have an effect on him. Durk is not indicted on this murder. Durk has nothing to do with this fucking case. This is just them saying, oh, Durk was supposed to pay us.
So as he said,
Marley's saying, go press Durk. At no point in time does it say he said anything to Durk at all. At no point in time does anybody say Durk actually exchanged any fucking money. They're naming everybody else. That's the thing. They're trying to tie Durk in all of these situations, but nobody is actually saying Durk did this, Durk did that, and there's no proof of it actually even happening. So keep that in mind when you hear these things. But as far as these two guys go, there seems to be a ton of evidence against them regarding this murder. They're trying to say the intent was because they were getting paid. Apparently, they didn't get paid the full amount. So keep that in mind. All you young ones out there that want to go out here and catch hats, this and that. Dudes is allegedly saying they got 70 on their head, 100 on their head. None of these people are getting paid. What was the situation with Young Dolph? He had however much on his head, and they allegedly got paid like $500.
Exactly.
You better off just getting a regular job. You don't have to crash to get.
I was gonna say that, bro. You better off going to get you a 9 to 5, bro. It's safer. You ain't gotta worry about bullshit. Just show up on time, do your job, or find you another hustle that's legal. Just find a trade, learn a skill. Like some multiple things to do other than out here catching bodies for some money that you ain't even gonna really see. Like. You ain't even finna see that money, and at the most, you finna see a little bit of it before you get locked up. Like, bro, that shit just, I don't, bro. That's the video, bro. But I'm glad tonight Jake cleared that up because shoot, I thought that was gonna look bad on him. But then again, after you do think about it, he didn't. Ain't nobody saying he actually did something in cooperation of that. So, or even gave no money. So, that actually does look good on him. Now that I'm thinking about it, but y'all let me know how y'all think, how y'all feel about it. What y'all think? Let me know in the comments. Drop a like, comment, subscribe. If y'all rock with me, man, share the channel. Other than that, y'all be blessed. I'm gonna get at you on the next one, man.